Hi guys, Michelle here from RSVP, and today I'm delighted to be joined by architect legend and Home of the Year judge Hugh Wallace. Hello, Hugh. How are you doing today?
A very good morning to you.
Good to hear you're doing well. Listen, I suppose we'll just get straight into it then. How are you enjoying the series of Home of the Year so far this year?
I think it's great fun. It's the two new judges, Susie and Amanda, just make such a difference to the show because we talk about different things. We have a little frisson. There's all that excitement over our different opinions. But at the end of the day, what's terrific is the 21 houses, which
Hmm,
are just so special this year. I
hmm.
think I think they're extraordinary. When I think back over the 7 years, the houses and the style of the houses and the ingenuity and creativity has just got better and better.
Brilliant. And obviously, filming during COVID, what was that like? Did social distancing make it harder or anything, or was it still an easy enough show to produce?
Well, it just made it longer and a little bit more difficult because before in the past, we'd go into a room and we could walk around and move. But this year we couldn't. We had to sort of stand in our spot, which made it more difficult sometimes to see or to explain what you were going to be talking about. So that was really the main difference. Other than that, it was all as usual, never saw inside the house before the door opened. And that's the exciting thing when that whole door opens and you go, wow.
Yeah, exactly. And tell me, another point with COVID is we've seen over lockdown people getting very creative with their homes, making back their gardens in their garden and kind of, building gyms and stuff like that and getting more creative in the homes. Was that creativity and uniqueness something you found to be reflected in this year's series?
The COVID, because of our timing of the filming, the COVID hadn't quite impacted on the
Mm,
homes we visited. But I think there's huge creativity in this country. And what's very exciting is the way people will be using their homes going forward. And exactly what you said, what the impact of spending so much more time in our homes, because we will be working much more from home. And that will put stress and dynamics of a family and how they sort of interact between work time and social time. And I think that will be interesting to see how that develops in the years to come.
yeah, and you mentioned there the new judges, Suzie McAdam and Amanda Bone. Had you known their work prior to Home of the Year, or is this your first time working with them?
It's my first time working with them, but I knew both of them and I knew Susie because I'd done a number of shows with her.
Mm,
And between Amanda's an amazing architect, and Susie is an amazing interior designer, and that combination, along with myself, is just great fun. You can see the fun that we're having. I know we're disagreeing, but outside the show, we have a great time.
yeah, and speaking of there disagreeing, like there's been a lot of with some of the homes, a lot of differences in the points. You might give a 10, Amanda might give a 7. How do you kind of like, what is that like when you're like, oh my God, I think this home is amazing. Why aren't you seeing the same sort of thing?
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting. I'm very lucky that most of my houses have got through
Yeah.
that I would like to see in the final. And I think that I'm delighted with that. Can I just say that? And Amanda and Susie are great, and they have their opinions, and they're quite clear about what they do and don't like. But for me, the series is about home of the year,
Mm,
and it's about the sense when you walk into the home of a family.
mm,
There's a family live there, that there is chaos, and that's
mm,
okay. And that, if you like, the house is an extension of their personality. That's really what I'm looking for in this series. So a
mm.
bit of chaos for me is perfect.
And this is the seventh series, The Home of the Year. It's getting more popular every year. What keeps it exciting for you? Why do you keep coming back?
Well, I come back, personally, I come back because I love when the door opens and that snoop, that initial, gawp around the house, being surprised, going, oh my God, I love it, or oh my God, what happened there? And it just keeps giving and giving. The show is just getting better and better. I think the houses and the sort of the effort that homeowners make on their houses is just quite extraordinary. And I just love it. I just love that Snoop.
Brilliant. And is there any interior design or architect trend that you love to see in a home and, you know, that you think will always make a home look better?
I think it's an extension of the personality of the family because that's unique. And I think that's where Irish people have huge creativity and ability. I think innately, either through dance or lyrically or our language that we use, that we're a creative race and we love color and in my opinion, we like a little bit of chaos in our lives. And so do I. And I think that stimulates the mind. So I think a lot of these homes you go into, you just go, God, where will I look next? And it's that effort that people have put in to create these very special homes.
Alternatively, then, what's your pet peeve, let's say, or the worst thing when you walk into a home and see what is the red flag that you're like, nope, don't like that?
Perfection.
Uh,
A home that you go into and somebody spent ages moving a book, or a pet peeve would be a stack of books by a bed that have never been read. Like, what are they doing there? Superfluous things that people buy that don't really have a relationship to their personality, but they think because they've looked on social media that that's what they should buy. And I think those things that don't have an honesty or a story behind them sort of scream out at you. And the big no-no for me is not being able to put my coffee cup down on the table without a coaster appearing underneath it.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be visiting my house anytime soon, Hugh.
Michelle, it looks fabulous.
Thank you very much. It's also my work from home office, as that is the way things are at the moment. But lastly, Hugh, anyone looking to decorate or perhaps just do up their house at the moment, what is the one piece of advice you'd give them if they're looking to breathe a new life into their home?
Well, I think the first thing is they have to follow the sun, and they need to understand where the sun rises and where it sets in relation to their house. And to ideally grab the sunlight after 4 o'clock in the evening in the house, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking, in fact, for that connection between the outside and the inside. And put in a set of big double doors, get access to the outside. You'd be surprised how often you can use the outside as an extension of your home.
Brilliant. That's great advice. Well, listen, Hugh, thanks so much for talking with me today. And don't forget, you can watch Home of the Year Tuesday evenings at 8:30 on RTE1, and you can catch up with the series on the RTE player now.